Is everyone done mowing the lawn and weed whacking? I'd like to start filming, please. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and in today's video, I thought that I would go over my Kindle TBR with you guys. I think I've done this once or twice before, and I'm a little ashamed to admit that probably a lot of these books are the same.
Oh Lord, again.
There's probably, I don't know if there's like a lot of, we're gonna see. So what I thought I would do is I will tell you the books that I have out from Kindle, and then I will actually tell you when I first got it out, because it tells me. If you can hear the weed whacker, I'm sorry, but I can't control people. I wish I could, but I can't. But yes, I will tell you guys when I got the book out, so maybe it'll help you feel a little bit better about yourself. Because I know that I have books on here that's a good, like, probably over a year old. So that's how my life is going. But yeah, I just thought we'd go over it, see what's on here. I know what's on here, but you guys don't know what's on here. So let's just get into it. So the first book that I have here is Heart Recaptured, and it says you borrowed this book on June 4th, 2022. So that's, yeah, it's over a year old. That's about right. It is 23, yeah. Okay, so look, I told you most of these, look, if Kindle says I can get 20 books out, I'm going to get 20 books out. I always have 20 books out. It doesn't mean that I'm going to read them, but they're out. It doesn't matter. It's not like a library. There's limited copies. I can take it and keep it for as long as I want to. Okay, so this book is book 2 in the Hades Handman series by Tilly Cole. In this book, we are following Kai and Delilah. Delilah is one of the girls who is saved from the cult in the first book, and Kai is like the second right-hand man of the president of the motorcycle club. Delilah is a very beautiful girl, and she was told all her life that she is a temptation and a sin, and that it is her fault that all these men are attracted to her. And Kai is a ladies' man, so he is, he gets around. And he likes her, and she is very much sheltered from this religious cult, and it's going to take some time for her to feel comfortable in herself and in her surroundings. I loved the first book. I absolutely loved, what was it called? It Ain't Me, Babe. That's what it's called. I loved it. I just haven't had a chance to keep going in the series. Look up trigger warnings for this. There are a lot of them, but I highly enjoyed it. I just got to keep going with the series. So there's like 8. I want to say there's like 7 or 8 books. We all know series and we don't get along too well. Okay, the next book here is called Rustic Hearts by Amber Kelly, and I borrowed this book from Kindle on July 29th, 2022. I'm seeing a pattern. This is a small town romance. This is book 1 in her Poplar Falls book. So what I catch from this, I think it's like a friends to lovers. This girl, our heroine, she comes back to her small town that she grew up in, that she got away from, that she thought she'd never come back to. But she does have to come back, and it's where she meets our hero. And it's just not what she wanted. She did not want to stay in the small town. She was just coming to do something and then going back. But you know what? What really sold me was the cover. I love the covers. I love the covers in all these books. The series, there's 5. The covers are so beautiful. And if a cover speaks to me, it speaks to me and I want to read it. So yeah, this is still on my list. I still need to read it. Then from there, okay, the next book is the Mind F series by St. Abbey. I borrowed this book August 7th, 2022. So technically this is the first book, which is The Risk. But if you do not know the series, they're basically 5 novellas that you can get like in a bind up. So when you buy the book, it's all of them. But they're short, like 100 and so many pages novellas about a female serial killer who was out to get revenge on those who did her wrong in her past. And the FBI profiler who is trying to catch her. So she ends up falling in love with said profiler, and he does not know who she is. But listen, when I hear people compare this book to Criminal Minds, I'm like, say less. Criminal Minds is my baby. I don't know how many times I have binge watched from season 1 to 15. It has my heart and soul. Reed, Morgan, even Garcia and Prentice, like those 4 I love. I mean, I do love myself some Rossi also because he's got like that Italian spunk, but JJ's and Hotchner was but those 4 solid. Love them.
I'm gonna crush you. What?
Love them. So I'm excited for this book. I just don't know why I haven't read it yet because I'm so hyped and I'm just like, what if I don't like it? And I want to love it. Yeah. Okay, the next book is Twisted Heathens. And this book is by JROSE, and this is a dark reverse harem romance, book 1 in the Blackwood Institute. So basically, I was on a live, and Mandy from Ginger Snap Reads was talking about this book, saying that I have to read it. So I'm going to read it. But basically the heroine is, okay, from what I get, she is in a maximum security psych ward. And she's there for the crimes that she's committed. She's given a chance to escape, to go to Blackwood Institute because they're doing like a 3-year experimental program. And if she finishes the program, she's free. When she gets there, she meets some more people, which is where the reverse harem comes into place. So we've got, I don't know if I can say these words on YouTube without getting like flagged or anything. So we're going to say a tight-lipped self-harmer, a manic sex addict, a possessive control freak, and a shadowy ghost from my past. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's 4. She makes 5. I don't know. I've heard good things. We're going to give it a shot. It also reminds me very much of like, it's giving me like fall vibes. So maybe I'll wait to read it into the fall. But it's dark. It's why choose. I also got this out September 3rd of last year. So I still haven't read it. It's just sitting on that Kindle shelf like, read me. And I'm like, chill. Okay, the next book is called Peaks of Color. And this is by Victoria Wilder. I read the second book in the series first because I didn't know it was a series. Sometimes that happens. But this is book 1 in the Riggs family romance series. Book 2 is about her older brother, but this is about the sister of the family. And it is a small town forced proximity romance. So basically, their family is very well known in this small town. They run, I don't know if it's like the sports area, but I think it has something to do with like skiing, snowboarding. A lot of people come in, tourists, things like that in the winter. And she's like the marketing person. So unbeknownst to her, her brother hires this very famous photographer to come and do the pictures for them. And it's her romance with this guy. He's going to stay, I think, in her pool house or her guest house or something. That's where the forced proximity comes into play. I already know how their romance ends because I read book 2, but that's fine. I can just get a glimpse and see like how it started. It's fine. But I loved book 2 so much that I still need to read books 3 and then 4 comes out later. If you haven't read these, give them a chance. I don't hear anyone talking about them, but they're really very good. And the spice, it's so good. The next book on my list here is June 1st by Jennifer Hartman. And this I got out December 18th of 2022. I don't even know if this is on Kindle anymore because I think this was picked up traditionally and I don't think it's on here. But this is about, I'm pretty sure this is like friends to lovers. It spans, I think, from when they are at children to their adults. And it's broken into like tragedies. So there's tragedy 1, tragedy 2, tragedy 3, and I'm here for a tragedy. I don't know why. But if a book wrecks me, it's a good time for me because it just makes me feel things. It makes me feel things and I get excited to feel things. But I know that something happens in this little boy's when he's young and he has to move in with his friend, and his friend's sister is June. So it's basically like a brother's best friend, but also kind of step-ish brothers because he's lived with them their whole life. I don't know. But I've heard people love it. I heard it's emotional. I just don't know. I don't know when I'll get to it. But like I want to get to it, but I still just don't know when I'm going to get to it. That's the question. The next book is just The Devil, and then it's Devil's Playground Duet number 1. This I borrowed January 6th of this year. Okay, well we're getting back to this year. That's great. This is by Ashley Jade, and I don't know a whole lot about this book. I don't. I know it's a duet. I know it's by Ashley Jade. I know it's a romance. I think it's dark. And that's all I really know, because I've heard people say that they can't really say too much because it gives it away. So I really don't know too much about this book. I do know there's like a dual timeline. I think the present is MF. I think the past is MM. I could be mistaken, but I think. And it's dark, and that's all I know. But I love Ashley Jade, so I'm going to give this a shot because I looked up something like romances that made you go like what did I just read? And that was one of them. And I'm always down for that, so that's why I picked that one. The next one is Black Ties and White Lies by Kat Singleton. I got this book out February 7th of this year, and this is a billionaire fake fiance romance. So basically, our heroine in this book is not like forced to get with her ex's brother, but kind of. He needs a fiance, and he asks her to do it. And you know what happens when you're fake and you fake. You fake it, and you fake it till you make it in some aspects of life and in some not. But in this one, in romances, when they're fake dating, fake engaged, whatever, there's feelings there. So that's basically the premise of this book. But I love Kat Singleton. I read 2 books from her. Both of them were 5 stars, if not 5 stars. I'm pretty sure they were both 5 stars, or if not very close. But I like her writing. I like her spice. So I'm excited to give this one a shot. And then we've got One Look by Lena Hendricks. This is a small town a grumpy single dad, even better. We love a grump in this house. Okay. This I got out on March 20th of this year. So basically this is about our hero who was a former NFL player who is now a coach. I don't know if it's for a high school, college. It's a college team. And he comes into town with his daughter. I think it's a daughter. And he's at this funeral and he sees this girl just like hysterically crying. And he's like, oh, well, I'm intrigued. Come to find out that the girl is just a hired actress to cry at this funeral. But apparently there is a rivalry in this town. I don't know everything. But so the person wanted, I guess, someone crying at this funeral. I'm not too sure. It's fine. I've heard good things. People seem to enjoy this book as well as the second book. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's just give it a shot and see how it goes. Plus, the guy on the cover. Say less. Okay, from there, we go to A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. And I borrowed this book September 15th, 2021. Oh, okay. Well, I've had this book out almost for 2 years. Okay, this is by Catherine Moon, and this is book 1 in Tempting Monsters series. And yeah, I think this is the oldest book I have out so far. This is about Esther, and Esther is about to lose her job when she gets this proposition. I think she's a maid, a housemaid. Yeah. She gets a proposition to come and work at Rooksgrave Manor. And Rooksgrave Manor is basically a brothel for monsters. So think Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I think the Invisible Man. I don't know, Frankenstein. I don't know. But like, It always gives me fall vibes, and I feel like I need to read it at fall because of the monsters. But it's like monster spice, and I'm like, do I want to get into do I want to go down that rabbit hole of monster spice? I don't know. I have dipped my toes into Alien, but never into monster. So we'll see. Well, we can try it out. From there, I have From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, and basically this is, I don't know if it's like I think this is an enemies to lovers. I got this book out October 19th, 2022. So we're back in 2022 now. And basically, I know it's an ice skating romance. I think she has to become partners with someone who's not very nice to her. So I think it's enemies to lovers, but also like friend's brother type ordeal. I don't know too much about it. But I like the movie Cutting Edge. And that's giving me a little bit of those vibes. So I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't have to be similar, but if it just gives me the vibe, I should have a good time with it. After that, we've got Good as Gold by Serena Bowen. This is a small town romance, friends to lovers. So basically, I was reading, when did I get this out? June 2nd of this year. Okay, so basically, I say basically a lot. I'm just not realizing that. I'm so sorry. We've got Layla. So she gets a divorce from her husband, and she plans to have a child all on her own. That was her plan. What happens instead is that my crush comes back to town when I'm at my most vulnerable. After too many cocktails, I ask him to be my baby's father. So, and then our hero is Mateo, and he says, what I meant to do, visit Vermont for my brother's wedding, make amends to my friends, and mourn the loss. Mourn the loss of a friend. What happens instead? A hot affair with the one who got away, but it can't last. My life is 2,000 miles away, and Layla deserves everything. She's as good as gold. And that is where the good old title comes into play. I always love a reference back to the title, which ties it all together. So it's a small town, friends to lovers romance. I've never tried anything by this author. So I'm like, 1, the man on the cover. And 2, I want to give you a shot. So thank the man on the cover because he caught my eye. After that, I've got Narrow by S.J. Tilley. And this is book 1 in the Alliance series, and it's Mafia. That's all I really know. I'm pretty sure this is her Mafia series, and that's all I need to know. I have read a novella by this author, and it was really spicy, and it was like Christmassy, and I was like, just what I needed. So I'm like, I'm going to give her another shot, and I'm like, let's just do a Mafia, because I have not read a Mafia in so long that I honestly was trying to remember the other night, and I could not remember the last time I read one. So, yeah. It's due. I'm due for a nice, just like, I think this is Mafia. Wouldn't it be funny if it wasn't? I know he's an alpha. Like, that's all that matters. Let's give me a good alpha. Okay, the next book. Do not judge this book by the cover, because the cover sucks. Okay? This is called 9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. I was watching Bestie Book Reviews, and they were talking about this trilogy that they read in like 2 days. And they said they could not put the book down. There was so many twists, so many like plot turns, twists, and I was like, okay, say less. But they are right, because these covers are god awful. These covers are awful. But I'm hoping what's inside is better. So I'm pretty sure I just got this book out. Yeah, I got it out August 3rd. So this is about a girl who I think gets kidnapped when she's around 15 into this motorcycle club. And from there, like, the head of the motorcycle club kind of takes her in and is like, okay, you're going to be mine type of ordeal. But there's a lot of, like, plot twists. And I'm excited. I just want to know. Like, I love a good romance, but if you throw in some suspense and just, like, some shocking twists and turns, like, I'm yours. You got me for life. So we're going to see how this goes. Because, like, I am such a visual person, and that cover just turns me off, but we're going to give it a shot. We're almost done. We are almost there. 6 books left. we've got Lovely Bad Things, a dark romance by Trisha Wolfe, and I got this book out August 12th of this year. And I got this because someone was talking about the sequel, and it like involves cults and dark stuff. And I'm like, dark stuff. It just, like, when I hear the word cult, it's like a buzzword, and it's like a trigger for happy things. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I'm like, I want to read it. Give it to me now. So I didn't even know it was a sequel. I thought it was just one book, but it's a sequel, so I have to go back and read the first book. But it's a dark romance, Hollow's Row, book 1, and I'm just excited. We've got Helen and Callum. I don't know. Is it serial killer? Who knows? Don't care. I just want to read it. From there, we have Until I Get You, which is a hockey romance, and this is by Claire Contreras. I got this out the 14th, and it's a spicy standalone hockey romance novel with an obsessed, morally gray hero who falls first. And that's like, I've been seeing this around. People have been talking about it. People have been reading it. So I'm like, okay. I don't do a lot of sports romances because they're okay to me. I don't watch sports. I don't care for sports. It's just not my thing. But when other people read it, I get FOMO. So here we are. Why I own romances with sports in them, and then I hardly read them. I'll get to them eventually. Okay, the next book is Beautifully Cruel by J.T. Geisinger. I got this out on the 14th of this month, and I just love myself some J.T. I just read Midnight Valentine by her, and I freaking loved that book. I have loved every book that I have read by her, so I just wanted to continue with reading something. So I got this one. It's a duet. I'm pretty sure there's 2 in the... Well, yes, if it's 2, then it's a duet, Katie. You're very right. I don't know if this is Mafia or just like Alpha Billionaire, but basically she gets attacked one night and he saves her. She didn't know his name or where he was from. All I knew was that the only place I'd ever felt safe was in his arms. But safety is an illusion, and not every savior is a hero, and as I soon find out, having a king save your life comes with a price. Liam Black wanted something from me in return. I hope it's her. I hope he's like, I want you in return, because that just makes me giggle and feel things. So, you know what? He looks like he is tatted up, and that just does things to me. Moving on, I was watching That Tall Book Girl, and she talked about her latest books that she was loving, and she talked about this book, Maestro, by Auden Dar. I got this book out on the 15th of this month, and she said it was like a long book. And I think how long is this book? 600 pages. That's great. But she just was like, if you're going to read any books off this video, read this book. And I was like, okay, yeah, say less, I'll try it. But I really am not quite sure what it is about. So basically, our 2 hero and heroine meet when they're around 13 at a music audition for an art school. And after they meet, they form a friendship, and from the friendship comes love. And at the very end of this, it says, Maestro is a symphony of words, 4 movements filled with longing, secrets, betrayal, and the grace of forgiveness. So, as the years go on, he becomes known as Maestro, the tattooed virtuoso, the James Dean of classical music, and how do you say her name? Aurelia? I'm not too sure, is an accomplished cellist, his muse, the enduring love behind his greatness. But when the maestro falters, even for a moment, the most beautiful symphony can spiral into unrelenting chaos. Well, say less. I'm just excited. She got excited about talking about this book, so I got excited about wanting to read it, because when someone gets excited about a book, it makes me excited to read it. After that, the last two, we've got Here With Me, the Adair Family Series Book 1 by Samantha Yun. I got this book out May 29th of this year, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, set in Scotland, and that was like the biggest like pull for me to read this because my family is Scottish. But that's like where my ties with Scotland end. But I do love anything overseas. So I was like, yes, take me to Scotland. I know this is a bodyguard romance, but they're also like enemies to like I don't think she likes this guy very much. She knows of him, but the only thing that she knows of him is he's the reason that her father left. So there's like some animosity there. And it's just suspense. I do know that. Something's happening and we have to figure it out. But there's how many books in the series? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's just get through book 1. Let's just see if I can get through book 1. But I've heard such good things. I think she has other series besides this. But we're just going to start with this one, see how I like it. And then the final book is one that I'm already reading and I am loving. And it was on my TBR for August. And it is Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. And I got this, technically I have the book. It's right here. But it's too pretty to read. So I'm not doing that. I'm not messing up the pages. And so I was like, is it on Kindle? It is. So I got it out. So I got it out actually on the 16th. This is an age gap marriage of convenience. So basically what is our heroine's name? Skylar. Skylar lives with her mother and her mother is a hoarder. And Skylar has some medical issues. Our hero is Jude, or Lucky. This is his nickname. And he kind of befriends her. He's a construction worker, and he's working at the high school where she goes. And just by coincidence, they meet and they kind of become friends. And then one day she faints in front of the school, and he goes to the hospital and with her, and he discovers like the secrets she's been keeping about her health and about her living situation. He's like, I got an idea. I got good health insurance. You've got none. The place you're living in is terrible. Like, you cannot be living in those conditions. And I agree. That was terrible. He's like, let's get married. But just on paper. We'll say we're married so you can have my insurance. And that's about as far as I got in the book so far. They're just about to get married. It's their wedding day. And I'm so excited. I'm already loving this book. This was another book bestie, made me read it because I've been binging their videos. But yeah, so that's the one I'm currently reading. I'll have that done probably tomorrow or today. Depends on how, you guys don't care. But yeah, those are all the books on my Kindle TBR. 20, months from now, we'll do this again, and half of these will still be on it. I guarantee it, if not more. But that's okay. You're here to keep me accountable, not me. But yeah, let me know down below, what do you have out on Kindle, or if you've read any of these books. Did you like them? Is there one that I should prioritize higher than the other? Let me know down below. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new and would like to join the family. I would love to have you. My social media is linked down below as always, my Goodreads and my Instagram, if you want to stay more up to date, day to day with what I am reading. But I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. Okay, so the first book that I have on my Kindle Unlimited is Hearts. What is it? Okay, because apparently there is a rivalry. Okay. And a friendship soon, oh my god, I can't talk because my foot is falling asleep and I cannot think of anything else.